How's it going, guys? Kro'Khad the Throatripper is coming to raids, and the fusion calendar is out, and you guys know I do my best to give you everything you need to do to actually complete the fusion calendar easy, and I gotta say, this one does not look particularly hard. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you think I've earned your subscription, I would really appreciate it. And don't forget you can start raid the right way using my download link, which gives you 4 amazing champions right out the get-go. And you're also gonna have 24 hours to use the promo code section for another amazing legendary champion. Now, let's get into the calendar. You've probably already seen that this guy is an absolute beast, and anybody who plans on doing well in Hydra should be getting this guy, even if they don't have Countmaster Shayak to go with it, because Raid did confirm we will have some sort of way to get Shayak as well. But don't get your hopes up, it's probably gonna be something dumb like 10x or 15x for Shayak, or best case scenario some absolute Krakenfest deck of fates or path event. But at least it's nice they are still gonna be giving us some sort of way of getting this bad boy if you guys actually missed it. I myself did get it, because I did took the bait that we will be seeing a new Hound in Raid very soon. It took over a year, but I guess the wait should be worth it. Anyway, enough about that, let's talk about calendar stuff. And first things first, we have to acknowledge that this thing will be a fragment event, which traditionally is actually a very easy way to get your hands on a legendary champion, so this is basically the easiest way for a fusion to go for you guys, so you really don't have excuses to skip this one. Even if you don't have Shayak right now, even if you don't get it in this event right now that they're promising us we're gonna be getting, you still might open it later, so do yourself a favor and don't miss this amazing legendary dog. We can see we're gonna get 55 fragments from tournaments, 55 fragments from events, and a grand total of 20 extra tournament fragments as well from leaderboards, which gives us the grand total of 130 fragments for us to farm throughout the event, which is from Monday 28th of July to Monday August 11th. Don't get your hopes up that you can skip a lot of these events though, because the 20 extra tournament leaderboards you're going to be getting are going to be from finishing on first place from a champion training tournament or from champion chase tournament, and both of those would be a not very reliable way for you guys to be getting points. Like only 1 out of 100 people will be getting their hands on those, and it's probably going to cost them an arm and a leg. So you can basically ignore those bonus 20 and just pretend there's only a 110 total fragments in this one, which basically means you get to skip 2 normal events, which give only 5 fragments, or most of the event of a summon rush or a champion chase tournament. And in most cases those would be the best to be skipping on, so you can save yourself those hard-earned shards, but you can also skip something like a dungeon divers, because those are notoriously annoying to deal with. Anyway, let's move myself to the left side and let's go through these events so we can actually decide when would be the best time to pull the trigger on farming a lot of stuff. And we can see that the event starts off with a Dragon Tournament, which also combos off well with a Champion Training Tournament. I would still advise that actually hold back from wasting too much energy today, however, because tomorrow CVC with personal rewards is starting, and we're also going to be getting Dungeon Divers event. So this would be a perfect time to actually farm something like Dragon 20 with 4 food champions as soon as Dungeon Divers and CVC starts, and that way you're not going to be double or triple, you're actually going to be quadro dipping, which is pretty absurd. Being able to solo farm Dragon is not exactly hard. You could be doing it with somebody like Artak, you could be doing it with somebody like Walking Tomb Drang, heck, even Staltis can probably pull it off. So a lot of people should have access to something like this, but if you don't, well, you're just going to have to farm Dragon Tournament, comboed off with Dungeon Divers, or campaign farm 12 free Brule with your campaign farmer, so you can actually do a lot of champion training, or just use a bunch of brews. Like either way, this would be a very, very nice time for you to be farming with that quad dipping. Definitely great stuff. So yeah, here's where you want to be starting, and here it is. You are gonna probably need something around 2k energy for the Dragon Tournament. The champion training is going to be a combination of farming plus brews, so can't really put a tag on it. And Dungeon Divers usually need something of along the lines of 5k energy to do the whole thing, so it's not exactly super easy, but still. Also, I'm very bad at drawing, guys. Obviously, I'm trying to say that this is where you should be doing most of your farming, but yeah, you get it. We're also gonna have a gear enhancement event. Those usually cost about 15k silver, maybe put it around 20k silver if you really splurge on the gear, but yeah, 15k silver usually gets you the fragment. So that shouldn't be very hard to deal with. We have a grand total of 3 of those, so a grand total of 45 million silver. What is this K we speak of? It's a M. But yeah, 15 million here, 15 here, and 15 here again is gonna get you all of the gear enhancement fragments at least. If you want to finish the whole thing, which is usually not a bad idea, it usually is around 25 mil. But don't worry, even if you have 0 million silver right now, you can just farm out throughout the Dragon Tournament, the Champion Training, the Dungeon Divers. That is gonna net you a decent amount of silver. So technically speaking, even if you don't have any resources saved up, you can still realistically expect to finish this thing off, as long as you play the game throughout these 2 weeks, and as long as you're finishing things like Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare Clown Boss each day, and that should actually give you the amount of resources required to finish the whole thing off. We can also see Ice Golem is actually gonna start while the Dungeon Divers is still in play, so here would also be a pretty good time to be farming the Champion Training plus Dungeon Divers. Again, CVC is actually gonna be finished by the time this thing starts, I do believe, or it's just gonna be 1 hour or something. It's gonna be right at the end of the personal CVC rewards. But the gear enhancement event is gonna be during it, so you might want to bang out a good 25 mil during it if you really want to be winning that PR CVC. Again, the Ice Golem should be costing you something about 2k of energy, and you could actually do the whole thing through the Dungeon Divers. Like the 5k Dungeon Divers energy required here is to complete for the fragment, not the whole thing. So if you want to complete the whole thing, it usually is very well above 5k, like something like 8, maybe even 10k energy. Definitely not worth it for the most part. But if you have energy to burn, might as well, why not? We can also see Classic Arena being in here, not exactly hard. So just do your daily arenas and that should get you enough for the fragments. It really is not something we need to even think about for the most part. Just use up your daily arenas and that is gonna get you there. Same with the second ones. So both of these are pretty easy tournaments you don't even need to think about, and that's still gonna get you there. Here we can see Summon Rush. This is gonna be giving you a grand total of 15 fragments, and usually it's gonna be like 5 fragments at the beginning for just a shard or 2, and the 10 fragments is gonna be at around 6 sacred shards in, something along those lines usually. And this is a Summon Rush, so you will need to be blasting a few sacred shards here to feel good about it. And yeah, 6 sacred shards usually gets you there, so 6 sacreds or a combination of your other shards could be the way to go. Whereas with Champion Chase tournaments, here you could be using all sorts of different ways of getting your hands on extra tournament points, like old fusions, like remnant summons, prism summons, blast through a bunch of your mystery shards, that kind of stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be just sacred shards, so it's not supposed to be very hard on your shards, is what I'm trying to say. You literally will be able to farm all the shards you will need as long as you're finishing off your clown bosses during these days, so definitely worth going for that. Again, we can see another batch of Dungeon Divers in here, which does combo off with the Ice Golem again. But if you've spent your majority of energy on the first half with this Dungeon Diver combination with Ice Golems, you're probably not going to have too much left for this one, but it's still a nice little window here where you could be double dipping like that. This time it's not going to be a triple dip with the Champion Training, however, but you could also do something like in this area right here. You could just rest a little, so you can actually start triple dipping here with a little bit of Dungeon Divers left over again. And this is going to triple dip with Spider and Champion Training again. The Spider again is going to be something along the lines of 2k energy. The Dungeon again is something along the lines of 5k energy. And Champion Training again, a bunch of brews, a bunch of solo farming with Spider stuff. Again, Artak, Walking Tomb Drang, basically any burner with a regen gear set should be able to get you nice and good here. And you will be farming off a bunch of food in the process as well. After that, in this little time frame, you will have more room to be doing more Champion Training and Spider Tournament, but without the Dungeon Divers, so here you're probably going to have to bang out a lot of energy into not so desirable things, but still it is going to be worth it for that 5 fragments. And the last section here is here with Champion Training plus Spider. Again, you will be able to triple dip more like it with Dungeon Divers. Again, don't forget this here is going to be 5k energy for the Dungeon Divers, which you will also have room to do with Fire Knight for the remainder of Dungeon Divers. So again, a very nice combination for you guys. You will be able to double dip again here. Should not be a problem to be finishing both of these. Fire Knight is not the easiest tournament in the world to finish off nice and well, but Fire Knight 20 is not exactly the hardest thing in the world. Just get your hands on 1 or 2 good ally attackers, Get yourself the Epic Allure, nice little wave clears, multi-hitters like Cold Heart. It's not really a hard piece of content nowadays for most at least. And we can also see we have a Champion Chase tournament over here, which again, depending on how much you have saved up before, you might have yourself a bunch of fragment summons ready to blast through from Doom Tower, from previous fusions and whatnot. From Deck of Fates, who knows, you might have yourself Mikage ready to fuse or something nice like that. But when push comes to shove, you still could just bang out a bunch of your Ancient Shards here. On Champion Chase tournaments, it's kind of preferable to go for your Ancient Shards, maybe your Void Shards, especially if you get a 2x event on one of those or something along those lines. We usually do get something along those lines. And who knows, maybe we're even gonna have some kind of path around these here parts, maybe for a 5-star soul of this guy, maybe for a Shayak, that kind of stuff. I really hope they give us a 5-star soul for Kro'Khad, because he really is gonna be amazing. He is a damage dealer after all, so a 5-star soul is absolutely amazing. Giving you all of that extra blessing power would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, again, the Champion Chase tournament here probably is going to be worth going for the full thing. And we can see again, there's a gear enhancement event here, another classic arena, nothing exactly hard. If we have to do a recap here, you're gonna notice that we do have 3 dungeon divers, so that is a grand total of 15k energy, and there's plenty of ways to double dip throughout. But if you're really efficient, you shouldn't really spend more than, what's that? 17k energy throughout the entire fusion calendar. And if we gotta be completely honest, you are gonna get that amount of energy during this event calendar. Like if you guys check out my energy guide for raid, you are gonna see that we have about 1500 energy per day as long as you know where to look for it. So in the span of 14 days, you're gonna get well over the energy required for this, but still, if you don't have enough energy, throw in a little bit of gems here and there. In the end of the day, that's what gems are for. Get yourself all of that extra energy. The silver is not gonna cost you much more than 50 mil, I'm sure of that. And as for shards, something along the lines of 6 sacred shards to get the summon rush, and the Champion Chase, it really comes down to what you guys saved up, but a grand total of 12 sacred shards definitely should cover you through the entire thing. I'm not saying you're gonna get a grand total of 12 sacred shards during the fusion calendar timeline, but you definitely should be getting a different variation of the shards needed for all of this thing. So yeah, all around, it's an amazing champion, and the fusion calendar really does not look very challenging, so you should have absolutely no problem getting your hands on this bad boy. Do let me know in the comments below if you think I've missed something important in this fusion calendar, and I will do my best to include it on the next time I do a video like this. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and don't forget you can start raid the right way using my download link to get your hands on so many amazing champions. Thanks for watching, I'm Kro'Khad, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.